back to Brick Gaming YGO. Today I'm back here with another deck profile. Today is my first place Thunder Dragon, Red Eyes, Dragoon, whatever, deck. Doesn't matter, this deck is amazing, it's literally broken, you cannot find a better deck out there. This deck is the best deck you can be playing right now. So please like, comment, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Subscribing will mean a lot to me, this channel, and hopefully to the community as a whole. The goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by next year, which will definitely mean a lot to me, and it looks like you guys are already getting there, so thank you guys so much. I just want to say thank you again. All of your support, all of your comments, all the likes, it all means so much to me, and it really helps out me feel encouraged to make more content from your guys' support. So let's get right into this. If you've seen like one of my other 5 bajillion Thunder Dragon deck profiles, I won't go over too much, but basically triple dark, triple roar, which I feel like is fine to cut down to 2 at this point. I saw out this card a lot today. You just don't need to see 3, you don't need to see it every single game. 3 normal Thunder Dragon, 2 Matrix, 1 Dragon Hawk, and 1 Dragon Duo. All this is pretty standard. These are the exact ratios you want to play. If you're playing more, I feel like that's bad. If you're playing less, I feel like you won't see them enough. Next, for the Chaos engine, I play 1 Legionnaire, 1 Creator, 1 Collapse Serpent, 1 Wyver Buster, 1 Valkyria, and 1 Chaos Betrayer. All of these cards are super amazing, and you should play each of them at 1 copy. If you play more, they become easy bricks in hand. And you want brick in this deck, because when you brick in this deck, it's a lot of the time GG, game over, unless your opponent bricks worse than you, and in which case, it's probably still GG, well played. So this is the exact list I would recommend, especially with Betrayer. Betrayer is very good, and he's a good side deck out option during games 2 or 3, since he's not necessarily necessary, but he does come in clutch quite a bit. Next, I play double Batterman Solar, double Lupine, double Beckoning Beast, and a singular Chaos Summoning Beast. Now, these are all your normal summons. I don't think you should play any more than this. This is as many normal summons as you want to have. I was doing playing triple Dark Beckoning, and that's just not very good. So 2 Batterman Solar means that, well, basically sends from deck to grave. This guy banishes, and this guy is the full combo extender. Just makes your whole entire deck super insane, makes it super crazy. It makes it so that you pop off super easily. Now, of course, you're playing the 1 Red Eyes Beat Dragon, plus the 1 Dark Magician. Both of these cards are required for the summon a Dragoon, and of course you need to play 1 at each. Sure, you're going to see them in your hand every once in a while, but do you Dragon Hawk, you can shuffle them back, or sometimes it doesn't even matter. So it's not really a big deal. If you have a brick hand, that just makes you brick worse, but that hardly ever comes up, since I try to make this deck as consistent as possible. I mean, this deck's so consistent that I cut it down to 41 cards from 44 cards. It's super nuts to see this deck at such a low deck count. Next, I play triple Opening of the Spirit Gates. This is just full combo, makes your deck go super nuts. Then I play triple Chaos Opening, or not Chaos Opening, Chaos Space. Super amazing, really good card. You want to see it as much as possible. Triple Allure of Darkness, just adds consistency. Double Thunder Dragon Fusion, 1 Red Eyes Fusion, and then, of course, the 1 Gold Sarcophagus. This is the most you want to run for the spells for the most part, unless you're playing other variants of the deck. Altogether, this deck is at 41 cards, and I think that's enough for right now. I think any more than this will be fine. You just have to find the right cards, and honestly, I think 41 cards is perfectly fine. Next, moving on to the extra deck, I play 1 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. This card is nuts when you get it. Otherwise, it's a good Ash, Valor, Imperm, whatever. It's good bait. It's good bait for your Verte and Anaconda. And also 99% of the time, or actually, that's a little bit high. I would say about 50% of the time you're able to make Appaloosa before you even make Verte. So you're able to protect your summon Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. But if you're not able to, it's just super good bait, and then you get off every single other play. And it also allows you, if you don't get off Verte and Anaconda, it allows you to play around basically Super Poly, and I will show you guys how you play around Super Poly, so you never get Super Polyed again if your Verte doesn't resolve. Next, I play double Thunder Dragon Titan. I think 2 is correct. I think if you play 1, you're not going to be able to gain enough out of it, because in grind games, you usually see the second one, since your opponent's usually able to out at least 1 of them, so 2 is the exact number you want to play. I would not play any more or any less than that. Now moving on to the links. 1 Link Karibo, 1 Relinquish Anima, and 1 Link Cross. These are all the Link ones, and Link Cross is the way in which you play around Super Poly with Predator Plant versus Anaconda. So your opponent, well, if you have 2 Darks on your field, or Thunder Dragon Titan plus Verte, there's a lot of ways that your opponent can Super Poly you. It's actually super easy. So if your Anaconda gets engaged, you go into Link Cross to get the tokens, and you're perfectly fine, because usually most of the time your opponent cannot OTK or do anything through that, because usually they've already expended their resources that they can do on your turn, and also hand traps make your deck less consistent in doing your own combos. Thus, Link Cross just becomes even better. Sure, you can make it off of IP, which is also super broken because that's a +4 or +5 combo, but for what is, it's still pretty good, and it allows you basically to not lose the game instantaneously. Then I play, of course, the 1 Verte, the 1 Cross Sheep, and the 1 IP for the main Link 2s. IP, it comes up quite a bit. It comes up when you need it to come up. If you don't need it, you'll never make it. That's kind of the whole idea behind it. It's really nice when you need it, but if you don't need it, it's still perfectly fine. And then Cross Sheep, it comes up every once in a while. Basically makes it easier for you to make Appaloosa, and then make Verte Anaconda with free protection. And there's some really cool stuff you can do with that, with some really nice shenanigans. Then, of course, the 1 Nightmare Cerberus, the 1 Nightmare Phoenix, and the 1 Nightmare Unicorn. This is a full Nightmare package, and yeah, just basically gives you more ways to out stuff. And this is so nice off of Link Cross, because all the Link Cross points down, you guys point up, and during your turn, if your opponent doesn't kill off your tokens, or if you do at the end of their main phase using IP, you're just able to go super nuts and get a bunch of free draws, get a bunch of free resources, and to blow up the majority of your opponent's field, and that feels good every single time. Then I play 1 Curious, the White Sworn Dominion. This card's really, really good. Basically, if you don't have full combo, this card is guaranteed full combo every single time if you're able to make it. If your opponent hits it, it's perfectly fine, because most of the time, you're able to just be able to go back into your deck and still do full combo. So if your opponent hits it, well, they lose the game. If they don't hit, well, they still lose the game, which is super nice, and it helps against players who are unprepared for this deck, and they don't hit when you have a brick hand, or if you have a really great hand and they hit, it just feels really good, and usually your opponent doesn't know when to hit. So yeah, this card just nuts in that respect. Sorry for kind of like the long discussion on carries, but it was worth mentioning. Then for the Link 4s, I play exactly 1 Access Code and 1 Appaloosa. Really, really good, super amazing cards, and these cards just win games. Appaloosa, two or even 3 or even 4 material Appaloosa, it puts in so much work against pretty much every single deck in the meta, since every single deck has to play monsters right now, and Appaloosa just says no. Also, it feels great when your opponent tries to, Lancia you at the beginning of your turn, and you haven't have an Nibiru or Red Eyes on field. You just feel good. And then, of course, Access Code, easy OTKs, easy wins, easy dubs right there. Then moving on to the side deck, I first off play Gamma. If I know my opponent's playing hand traps, and I'm either going first or second, if I know they have Lancia, a Ash, or anything like that, you just know you're going to have to put in Gamma. And when you see it and your opponent hand traps you on your turn, you feel so good. You feel so good because you have like 10,000 baits in this deck. Literally all of the baits you want to have, and this card feels really good. I wouldn't main deck at this point, even though it's really good in the main deck. It's just not good enough. You would rather go combo than try to play a defensive game, and I feel like Gamma's a really defensive game. I tried it out with him in the main deck before, and it's okay. It works well against decks that usually just play 1 monster. If you hit that 1 monster, you win. But otherwise, it's not really worth playing in the main deck, so that's just my personal view on that card. Then I play double Cosmic. Cosmic is super good. Then I play double Dark Ruler. Now, you could play more Dark Rulers, but I feel like this format, the only deck you're going Dark Ruler against is either a Mirror Match or against, I guess, Infernables or maybe Dragon Link. There's not very many good decks to use this card against, so that's why I only play it 2. Just gives me more room for better generic cards that work against every deck. I think you still need it just in case, but you're going this deck can play through pretty much anything if you get the right hand. Then I play triple Imperm. Imperm's the MVP. And the best thing about this deck is that there's almost nothing in the deck that your opponent can call by the grave, which is super amazing. Like, oh my gosh, you don't even know how many times people will have left their call buys in against me, and their call buys have done literally nothing. They have done less than nothing and just end up being a brick in their hand, or a brick on their side of the field. So Infinite Impermanence just adds to that feel. Then I also play Triple Evenly Match. This card comes in clutch, especially against Dogmatika Invoked, or other decks that don't really put up a lot of negates, but put up a lot of, like, let's say, minor interruption, stuff like that. This card just wins. You just win. It's easy. Just winning. Basically. And then finally, one red reboot. I'd never play against team backrow decks on my locals, since like no one plays backrow decks, but just in case anyone ever does, which I know people have picked up in the past, always come prepared just in case. Now, for my matchups today, at my first tournament, I didn't really do the best, in my opinion, at my first tournament. I think I still was doing really good because technically I went X1 at my first tournament. I just kind of felt bad about one of my losses, so yeah. But basically what I played against was round 1, I went up against, oh man, give me one second, I didn't write down what I went up against at that tournament. But basically the matchups included Dogmatika Invoked, which I had a draw with. I lost to Fluffals, unfortunately. I always lose to Fluffals. Uwu, best deck. Uwu. Yeah, so we have this really amazing guy there that plays Fluffals, and he just destroys people with Fluffals. It's like the most ridiculous thing you'll ever see at locals. But I did lose to that deck, to that matchup today. I tied with like a Dogmatika Invoked deck, which was unfortunate because I was in a winning position going into game 3, and my hand was nuts, and my opponent didn't have any outs, but time was called before we really got into any damage or anything like that. Let's see, what else did I play against? Basically, I won every single other game, so I technically went X1. I'm going to count it as X1 in my personal view. Then, as a second tournament, I went undefeated. I played against Nekroz Invoked in the finals, which was cool. But then I also played against what else did I play against? I also played a Thunder Dragon mirror match, which was interesting. And then I also played, I'm sorry to everyone that's trying to figure out my matchups. It's going to be in the description down below what I played against. But basically it was Dogmatika Nekroz, which I beat. I also beat Dogmatika Invoked at that tournament. The same person from before. I just was, it was a proof that I could win in that matchup. And then the other matchup that I mentioned already, which was Thunder Dragons. And this deck wins, at least for me. I'm starting to understand the Thunder Dragon mirror match better, so I'm doing a lot better with it. Sorry for me having to think so long, guys. That's very unfortunate, but definitely will include all of my matchups in the description down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, subscribing would mean a lot. It would help out the channel, and it would hopefully help out the community as well. So I'll see you guys all in the next video.